Hey everybody, welcome back to Psalms in Quarantine. And today we are going to be reading from Psalms chapter 50. I'm going to read from verse 1 all the way to verse 15. The mighty one, God, the Lord, speaks and summons the earth from the rising of the sun to where it sets. From Zion, perfect in beauty, God shines forth. Our God comes and will not be silent. A fire devours before him, and around him a tempest rages. He summons the heavens above and the earth that he may judge his people. Gather to me this consecrated people who made a covenant with me by sacrifice, and the heavens proclaim his righteousness, for he is a God of justice. Listen, my people, and I will speak. I will testify against you, Israel. I am God, your God. I bring no charges against you concerning your sacrifices or concerning your burnt offerings, which are ever before me. I have no need of a bull from your stall or of goats from your pens, for every animal of the forest is mine, and the cattle on 1,000 hills. I know every bird in the mountains, and the insects in the fields are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell you, for the world is mine, and all that is in it. Do I eat the flesh of bulls or drink the blood of goats? Sacrifice thank offerings to God. Fulfill your vows to the Most High, and call on me in the day of trouble. And I will deliver you, and you will honor me. This psalm is an interesting one. As we think about it, we hear God sort of like coming in his majesty, coming and summoning the earth and the heavens and everything, or everyone's bring it all together. God's going to say something. And what the expectation would have been in the days when this was written is, he's come in judgment, so clearly he is going to come and judge the heathens. He will judge the people who aren't of God's people. And he will bring them and he will judge them. But that's not what God does in this psalm. What God does is he brings everyone together and then says, my people, I'm going to deal with you. He puts us on the spot and says, I want everyone here to look at this people, and I want them to pay attention now. And then he comes to his people in the face of the nations and says, it's okay to give offerings, but do you really think that's what I want? What I want is the bull? Do you think it's the goat or the bird or the insect? I don't want any of those things. They're already mine. You can't give them to me. So why are you trying to give them to me and think that somehow, that's going to make something better? What I think we're having here in this psalm is first seeing that God, first of all, when he comes to judge, when he comes to instill righteousness or remind the planet of how the first people he goes to remind, the first people he goes to convict is us. It's his people. He starts off in his household, and in his household, he speaks to those that follow him and says, guys, get it together. What's going on? He wants us to see and learn and understand and grow. And that's the way that he shows his love. But it's also because of the way he works, right? It's because we are his people. We are intended to be the image of God on earth. We're supposed to live like him and love like him and care like him and be like him and teach. We're supposed to do those things like him. And that's why it also has to begin with us. It has to start with us. Revival, transformation, discipleship, they begin in the church. Second, he then comes and tomorrow we'll talk about how the next part of the psalm discusses a different problem. But this problem is a problem I know that we're all very familiar with, which is this. Don't think that by doing things that's somehow gonna, affect don't think that the things that you're doing are the things that are important in your relationship with me. They're not the key. So what he's saying is, don't bring me your offerings. When people relate to God in a moralistic fashion, when we come to God and we think that it's what I do that makes the difference between me and God, then they often believe, even though they might not say it out loud, that it puts God in their debt. I've done A, B, and C, therefore God owes me. That's kind of the way that it looks like. Hey, I pray every day. I talk about God every day. I go to church whenever I can go to church. Therefore, God's not allowed to put bad things in my life, right? That's the way that we talk about the debt sometimes. And God says, number one, absolutely wrong. The things that you do and the desire even to do the good things that you do are things that I put there in you, God says. All of that comes from me. So why on earth do you think that God would be in your debt if God has given everything to you in the first place? He sets out in the psalm and says, don't come to me like that, but come to me with your needs. Come to me when you're in trouble. Come to me. Remember that I'm the one that has given you everything, and therefore I want to hear you. I want to hear your heart. I don't need your actions. Now, as we know, when we love him with all our heart, that expresses itself in actions, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing for us is the love and the fact that we need him and the way that we lean on him. That's what's important. So, as you think about Psalm 50 today, think about how God, first of all, wants to come to us because he wants to use us. He wants to engage us in his mission. And second, that everything that we do comes from him. And so every time you're struggling, every time you're hurting, what God loves the most is that the first point of call, the first port of call for your troubles is him. Because that means that you know it's him that's going to help you. He's the one that's there for you. So be thinking about that today. I hope to be able to have a service on Saturday morning, on Shabbat morning, this coming week. So if you can be around for that, I will send out the link, and I'll remind you guys also on the messages as well. But we'll do that on Shabbat morning. And pray for, we also have a meeting here, meeting on Zoom, at 7 p.m. this evening. And we're going to be talking about the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. So if you want to be around for that, you can be around at 7 p.m. for that. And then we'll be around for the for Saturday morning as well. So those are times we can actually meet together. And then pray for me. I've got the quite a bit on at the moment. So would appreciate your prayers, and see you all soon.